If you're looking to scale your business and learn from the best life and health insurance agents in the industry, you're in the right place. This is your host, Jason Hoffmann, and you're listening to the Agents on the Move podcast, where we profile producers who are consistently at the forefront of the industry in production and management expertise.
Lowest point in my adult life is probably the highest point in my adult life now, looking back, but it was August 12th of 2007, and that was Sunday of the PGA Championship at Southern Hills Golf Club in Oklahoma. My dad and I were going to go watch Tiger Woods win, and had the tickets planned forever and ever and ever, and it was something we were going to do, and I decided to have other plans and ideas that day and ended up in hospital and ICU for several days, directly results of drinking alcohol for the last 10 years of my life before that, really, in the restaurant industry and bartending and what have you. I just became somewhat of just a bum, if you will, just partied all the time and had no ambition whatsoever and just kind of coasted by.
If you're looking to scale your business and learn from the best life and health insurance agents in the industry, you're in the right place. This is your host, Jason Hoffmann, and you're listening to the Agents on the Move podcast, where we profile producers who are consistently at the forefront of the industry in production and management expertise. Brett Casey drops in today to share his story of perseverance and persistence. Brett has been named the Personal Producer of the Year for Health Markets Insurance Agency 2 times. More recently, he has been named the Sales Manager of the Year, and he's grown his sales team to over 60 agents. Brett has been a colleague and a friend for 10 years. He is someone I continue to learn from, and I believe all of us can benefit from listening to his journey. Brett, how did you get started in your business?
Getting started in the insurance industry, for me, I was trying to get out of the restaurant industry, and that's what I had worked in forever. I put a resume out there, and it was the first time I had really put a resume online, and that's kind of who came calling. I had a lot of insurance companies wanting to do interviews with me. So I found out pretty early that that's fairly common, that many companies will throw ads out and what have you. And I even started with one company and paid the background fee checks and all that, but still we're doing other interviews because I wasn't even sure it was what I wanted to do. And I don't know, when I interviewed Moore, Oklahoma, and he was with Health Markets, and man, I don't know, it just something felt right. It was September of 2009. That's just it's where I've been since. It's just treated me well.
So how far along in your career were you that you realized, hey, man, I can do this and I can be successful at it?
For me, I figured out pretty quick. Just I was not used to any substantial type of income in my life at that point. And so, I would help some customers get a plan and get compensated on that more than I would get paid in 2 weeks at my prior job. So I figured out pretty quick that I was going to be able to make it. The goal setting and production, that all came later. But as far as my standards of living, they weren't real high. So it wasn't hard to make it in my world when I came here.
So you think it was like a month, couple months?
I'd say 3 months in. 3 months in, I knew that I was at least able to pay the bills that I had. And doing it on my own accord, doing it without a boss, doing it without a structured schedule. And so that was a plus. I had figured out, okay, I can at least do this. And of course, once you learn to do something, it's easier to do more than once. And so just naturally just get better.
What's the lowest point you think you've had? You mentioned that you weren't used to making an income, and maybe it's in this career, maybe it was in a prior career in your adult life.
Lowest point in my adult life is probably the highest point in my adult life now, looking back, but it was August 12th of 2007, and that was Sunday of the PGA Championship at Southern Hills Golf Club in Oklahoma. My dad and I were going to go watch Tiger Woods win, and had the tickets planned forever and ever and ever, and it was something we were going to do. And I decided to have other plans and ideas that day, and ended up in hospital and ICU for several days, directly results of drinking alcohol. And I had for the last 10 years of my life before that, really, in the restaurant industry and bartending and what have you. I had been around, just became somewhat of just a a bum, if you will, just partied all the time and had no ambition whatsoever and just kind of coasted by.
So why then? Like, why'd you stop then? What was different about that?
Well, it was kind of escalating. So at that point, I was basically in the restaurant industry. I had worked my way up from busboy to waiting tables to bartender to restaurant manager. And then I had worked my way all the way back down from restaurant manager to bartender to waiting tables. You know what I mean? And I just kind of butchered everything and was going backwards. Got terminated from a lot of establishments, a lot of restaurants for drinking on the job. And it was just going nowhere fast. I had friends my age that I thought I was more capable. I had an academic scholarship as well as an athletic scholarship all through universities and didn't really amount to anything. So I just knew that there was a lot of squandered opportunities and I was at a spot where it was either do something different or just end the deal, right? And I chose to do something different.
It was just kind of like you woke up one day and said, I can change and I'm going to change. And then that was it.
More or less, yeah. The defeated have lost their terms of negotiation. There wasn't much left for me to do. I was homeless. I was broke. There was really nowhere to go. So I didn't really get to negotiate the surrender very well, but it was at a point. It was just do something or you're toast, right? I was 29 years old and I had more money at the age of 12 than I did at the age of 29. It was just, I had just gone backwards.
Did you have any setbacks on the way back? Like when you made that commitment?
Sheesh. Thousands. Yeah, absolutely. You have to change your activities. You have to change your friends. You have to change a lot of things. Just trying to figure out how to live life just by itself is a challenge. And then you figure that out and you're trying to figure out, well, how am I going to pay the bills now in an entirely different industry? And I tried a job working minimum wage at a golf course, picking up golf balls. I just wanted to figure my way out and maybe play some golf again and just kind of learn to just kind of get by. That's what I did. And I was working with a 15-year-old that I trained who was deaf. He's still a good friend of mine today. We still gets lessons from me. He's a really cool kid. I'm not kidding anymore. But that was my coworker, right? I was 31 at that point. And it's kind of like, there's just only so far I can go here. And I started putting that resume out there. And as soon as I got the interview, literally like 4 days after that, I was in a car wreck. I've got a metal plate and 9 screws in my hand. I was a passenger in a car. A 16-year-old girl was texting and driving, hit us 60 miles an hour. I busted 2 ribs, punctured a lung. I got the metal plate, couldn't play golf for 2 years, couldn't even grip a club. And so I'm coming to sales meetings in a cast. I failed my test the first time. I failed my test the second time. The people I were hired with were already active and selling policies. So yeah, there were some obstacles starting out, but I just kept the head down and just kept moving forward and focused on what was in front of me. Those agents that sold things before me, they all didn't make it. And they're all clients of mine today, one of which just this year passed away. And his wife got a $250,000 death benefit claim because when he left, he said he liked me and he wanted me to write his life insurance when he started working for another company being a diesel mechanic. So it's been persistence has been the key. I may have started a little slower and I may have been a late bloomer in life and I may have just squandered some opportunities early on, but all I focus on what I have today and what's in front of me tomorrow. And my only competition in my whole life is me yesterday. And that's it. If I'm better than I was yesterday, then who cares? I don't try to be other people. I don't even know what they are inside. I know what I am.
So as you got into the insurance business, what was your biggest failure in that new endeavor?
Well, I just didn't know what I was doing. What I had going for me was I wasn't afraid to try it. I would drive all over the state of Oklahoma to just get stood up 3 hours away. Just not knowing what I was doing, not even able to set solid appointments. Just anyone that was willing to say hi to me, I'd just try to show up at their front doorstep. I've gotten a lot better today at things. I didn't ever get referrals early on. I was so afraid to ask for anything else after they actually bought something that I was going to screw it up that I never asked for anything else. Referrals are all that I get enough referrals to feed my team today. And it's a large team. Had I started on that 2 years earlier, compound interest would have taken a hold on that. Things would have been better today. But that is what it is.
Do you think your background is why you persevere? And do you think that perseverance can be taught?
I think we all have perseverance. It's just the will to go on. It's just your want to has to be in the right spot. We all have want tos, and we all find a way to get those wants filled. I don't care who we are. When I was broke, and I still smoked. If I needed cigarettes, I found a way to get them. When I was broke and had to come up with something, where there's a will, there's a way. And so I may have gone down a bumpier road than some others, but that was I don't think that's ultimately required. I think anyone has the will and the desire to accomplish whatever they want, right? They just got to get their focus in line with their thoughts and just their activities, right? It all equals. It's pretty much a scientific equation.
Yeah, you make time for what's important to you.
That's right. That's right. I've been very successful and here, and so have many other agents. And from what I can tell, I know them all, and none of them are Rico Suave and have all the right lines. They're just regular people working real hard, and that's what it takes.
So what are some of the things you still struggle with today?
The biggest struggles today, I would say, as a team leader, are trying to, when you see agents that have more potential than what they're showing, and sometimes they don't really seem like they have the desire to go get more. To me, that's foreign language. I do not understand. Like, when an opportunity is in front of you, why not maximize it now to take care of your future and family later even? And so that's something I am learning to have to coach. I need to coach people to be where they want to be, not where I want them to be, not where I think they should be, and at least get them to where they're satisfied, but then try to find ways to encourage them to do more, and I think that's probably the biggest hassle. I don't find it very hard to drive myself to do what I know needs to be done today. It just kind of happens. I'd say another big struggle that you kind of have, and I've eased it personally over the last year or two, is just during the open enrollment periods when I was primarily focused on personal production. My wife and I would talk, but it would certainly be some weeks where you could work 90 plus hours a week and really throw things off balance at home during a 2 to 3 month period. But the rewards of that obviously are income that can often be 2 to 3 years of a salary. And so we would have that discussion and always think, okay, yes, let's, she would handle kind of the just mom and dad duties, and I'm just going to be gone and working my tail off. And I think I could have found more balance during those 2 or 3 months of those 2 or 3 years. But the flip side is our kids have college funds, and our retirement looks okay. And it has some flip sides. That's some things looking back that you just, okay, I get to manage my schedule. I get to control my schedule. Did I maybe go overboard on that? And that's some things looking back. I wouldn't say it's a huge regret. No family trauma. I mean, everyone gets along and we all talk, but looking back, it's like, maybe could have been home more and passed on some of the opportunities.
Yeah, you have to find the right imbalance. A lot of times people talk about the work-life balance, and it's not going to be a balance. It's never going to be 50-50 because you just spend more time at work. So, and that's something that I think a lot of people, including myself, have to overcome too.
For me, I've found the work-life balance, it's not so much about how many hours I spend at one place. It's if I'm at the place I'm at. If I'm at home, I need to be home. Not talking about work. I need to be home with the family and quality time. And when I'm at work, I need to be working. If I'm away from the family, I don't need to be dicking around in the office and just looking at things. I need to be working.
So you mentioned one of your struggles were trying to help people uncover their potential. What are some things that you've done or you try and do to help them through that?
Oh gosh, I just try to encourage them to just see some of the things that I've seen through guidance and leadership of some mentors I have here in my area in Oklahoma City, and whether it be kind of spiritual, financial, business, whatever it may be. I have found people that have what I want. We meet and we talk and we hold each other accountable. And man, I've been suggested some audiobooks and some podcasts. And so I started doing that. And I do so many books a year. It's just ridiculous just while I'm driving. The opportunity cost of just when you're driving alone, the average human being, the average cost is $27,000 a year just in depreciation and hours of the average hourly wage. So when you think you're spending that much money in your car, just the average human being, and you can get a 4-year college degree in 2 years in your car. I just started taking advantage of that instead of listening to whatever Lady Gaga or whoever the hell the radio was going to play. And so I just started making that productive. The biggest book, The Compound Effect, man, by Darren Hardy. That book absolutely just really, really changed things. It's a short read, and it's just about repetitive, not sexy daily tasks yield tremendous results. People want to be Michael Jordan, but they don't want to do what Michael Jordan did. And so I really like that one. But I think voracious learning is important of whatever it is you want to learn about. When you're sitting there driving, consider taking in some stuff that might benefit you instead of just nonsense.
Do you have a morning or daily routine?
Not every day, because some of the days are different in the week. So basically, my week is kind of on an every other week schedule, is very regimented. I am 100% by a calendar. If it's not on my calendar, it's not going to get done. So I definitely have it on my calendar, right? And I might make a little to-do list as the day is going on or something like that. In the morning, certainly the first thing I like to do is just kind of just get centered, right? Just kind of meditate a little bit, say a prayer, and just kind of start off. And then I'm not one that takes a while to wake up or get started. I literally, my feet hit the ground and I start going. If I'm going into the office, or if I'm going to the gym on that morning, or if I'm going to work from home that morning, or whatever it may be, I have that day planned of what I'm going to do. When I built my office, I specifically put a shower in the bathroom so I could shower there after working out and just make it streamlined and all of that. So every day is a little different, but every day of the year of that week is the same.
So you're a pretty humble guy, Brett. You've accomplished some great things as far as production and in your business. And what do you think the one big or best idea that you've had that really kind of helped you take off?
Listening to others, not having to find out that the stove is hot myself, right? If someone does something that works, roll with it. I know we all want to have our own idea and we all want to have our own things. I was so stubborn. If you would have told me 10 years ago, hey, walk over there and pick up that $100 bill and put it in your pocket, I wouldn't do it just because you told me to, even though you were helping me. Just your tone. I didn't like that tone. I got to do it my way. And I've gotten rid of that. I don't know how to explain it any other way than that. And that's been the greatest thing. When I hear an agent say a line that works, I just say that line. When I see a video on somewhere that seems like it's going to suit me, I just steal it. And if I hear something in a book, if I hear something on some of our weekly calls that we have or anything like that, I'm just going to make it mine. I don't need to redress it and try to make it better and put my own flair. So it's my idea. And that right there has enabled me to jump on things like social media well ahead of the curve. It's enabled me to utilize other technology ahead of the curve and really start getting out in front of things sooner than most, just by paying attention to what works out there. So I think that's a huge asset to have. And that's, some of you might think, well, duh, but that's something I didn't have. If it was your idea, I wouldn't do it. It had to be my idea. And that's gone from me now.
So what has given you the most satisfaction or sense of accomplishment in your career?
As far as in my career, what I am most happy with in life today is the fact that I can provide for my family and be the man that I need to be, right? That's what I'm most proud of, and that's been accomplished here. But the thing in my career that I've achieved that's given me the most satisfaction, like professionally, hands down, is watching some knucklehead agent come in that doesn't know anything and just being able to fast forward and look back a year, 2, 3 years and see the ones that stick with it and they're buying the cars and the houses. And next thing you know, it's just, they're running a business, right? And they came in like not even knowing how to like press a little button on something. And it's cool to watch that. And that's been way more than anything I ever accomplished. I've won some trophies and stuff, but I like watching people be able to learn how to not live off the man, how to watch people make their own living and not be told what to do, when to do it, when to take a break, when to take off. When someone gets taught that skill, that's irreplaceable.
So now you've been training and mentoring so many agents. Do you think you've gotten better at predicting success when you first meet somebody?
I got no idea. I guarantee you, if there was a predictor chart, I was a failure on all counts when I came in. I just don't know. I think agents were going to be great and they don't even show up. And then I think some are just going to be like, are you kidding me? This person can't even talk to a wall. And their determination picks them up. And next thing you know, they're one of the top agents in the country at something. So I believe integrity. I believe hard work and just a good attitude. I think if someone has that, they're going to be okay.
Is there a way you try and analyze somebody's grit or somebody's ability to persevere before you hire them?
God, it's hard to tell. It's talking to them about what they've done and things that motivate them in the past, asking them if they've ever been in any type of competition. Certainly like competition, but friendly competition, not the I'm going to step over the guy's throat to get the next customer type thing competition. You're trying to find those, but you're trying to find self-motivated. It's so funny because sometimes the ones that knock out all of the busy work, all right, they're go-getters, they're going to be awesome. And sometimes they're more administratively inclined and maybe not cut out, right? Whereas sometimes the ones that take forever, those are the type A's that don't want anything to do with it. And those are the ones that are going to be great. And you never know. And sometimes it's a mixture of each. So I've just decided everyone's going to get an equal chance, and I'm going to give them 100%. And the percent they give back is going to be the percent I give back, right? And just kind of base it off of that.
So if you could go back in time 11 years and talk to yourself, what would you tell yourself?
Just stick with it. Things are going good. Yeah, I'd just say just stick with it. Ask for referrals early. People trust you. As long as you're a trustworthy person. So as long as you're not out ripping people off, which I wasn't, I knew I was trying to find the best plan I could. When you're doing that for someone and you're going to be there and have a number for them to call and you're really going to be there for them. Now, if you're just going to sell them and bail, then don't ask for referrals. But if you are going to do that, then absolutely. Just who do you know, right? That's one thing I wish I'd have started earlier, but that's it. You just can't be afraid to try new things. You just got to roll with the punches. Things are not going to go as planned, right? If I had planned my life, I promise the last 6 to 7 years of my 20s would have been different. But I also wouldn't have planned what I have right now. There's no way. So kind of is what it is. You got to find your own way. But I don't think I'd tell myself anything different.
So you mentioned a compound effect and the audiobooks. Is there one other thing that you draw inspiration from that you would recommend to other people?
No, I mean, just constantly be learning, constantly be growing, right? Every day. I grew up playing a lot of sports and very, very into it from the coaching aspect. You're either getting better or you get worse every day. You go practice free throws and you become better, or you don't and you're rustier, you're slower. You don't stay the same. You never stay the same. And so we're either moving forwards or backwards. Every day we grow, right? For instance, this year I'm learning Spanish. I'm 5 months into it and I'm pretty far along. Just self-taught through apps and books and practice. I think everyone should have something they're just doing on the side. Now, that's something that'll help me professionally. Still, it's just something, right? That they're also growing in. Not just something they go do, but like, for instance, if it's golfing or if it's whatever, like practice it and try to get better at it. Just development. I am so big on development. I think we either grow or we die. Whatever it is. I like audiobooks. I like podcasts. That kind of stuff is very easy for me while driving. Typically when I'm at home with family, I don't have a lot of time to open books and read, and so I'll do some of those throughout the year, but not the same frequency at all. I can go through audiobooks and you find one that sticks. It's like, I go rewind that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are missing the boat on that. I mean, I'm the same way. It's hard to open up a book unless you're on a plane or you're in a place where you're kind of disconnected from society. But the audiobooks, I mean, you can get 7-8 hours in a week easy just by the downtime that you have.
That's exactly right.
Brett, thanks so much, man. We really appreciate you coming on, and all the insight and inspiration that you've given to everybody has been helpful. You've been a good friend to me over the course of the last, we've known each other 9-10 years now.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah, man. Time flies. Time definitely flies. Thanks again, buddy.
Hey, take care. Thanks, Jason.
Everyone, thank you for listening to the latest episode of the Agents on the Move podcast. You can subscribe to the show wherever you listen to your podcast. If you thought the content was beneficial to you, please subscribe to the show, write a review if you'd like. We look forward to joining you again. Thanks. Everyone, thank you for listening to the latest episode of the Agents on the Move podcast. You can subscribe to the show wherever you listen to your podcast. If you thought the content was beneficial to you, please subscribe to the show, write a review if you'd like. We look forward to joining you again. Thanks.